You probably know the basics, like drink 1.5 to 2 liters of water every day, eat 2 pieces of fruit every day, eat enough vegetables, like 250 to 300 grams a day. What else kind of facts have we got? Let me check the notebook. Don't drink too much soda, preferably none, like maybe at parties, but not like every day. Don't eat too much sugar, don't eat too much salt, and variation is important. But that's not always easy, and just knowing these doesn't mean you can actually fulfill these recommendations. So I thought I'd try and give you some motivation and some tips to start eating healthier and make it sound easier, because it isn't really that hard, and sometimes it just seems hard because there's so many opinions on what is healthy and what isn't, and you just have to find your own truth about what is good for you. I mean, of course there's facts about what is good for you and what's not, but you have to find out what feels good for you, what works for you. And yeah, everybody can eat healthy. So I think it's important to know that everything you do is a step forward. Like, for example, if you eat 2 cookies a day, which isn't the best thing to do, every time you eat only 1 cookie, it's 1 step forward, because it's not 2 cookies, which is less fat and less sugar. But, well, I'm not saying it very clearly, but like if you eat 1 cookie instead of 2, it's less sugar and less fats, because 1 cookie is less than 2 cookies. Yeah. Doing some math here. And it may become easier every time that you do such a small step, because if you notice how easy it can actually be to make a small change by eating 1 less cookie, it might also be easier to drink your coffee without sugar for once, or drink less coffee anyway, or eat nuts instead of candy. One little trick that helps me is when I crave something, I just try to focus and not give in to the craving. Sometimes you can, of course, give in to your cravings, because I mean, they're not cravings for nothing. But when I'm craving like a cookie, I try to eat something healthy first, because then you'll fill yourself with something healthy, and the craving might decrease, because fruit contains sugar as well, and a cookie does as well, so it might decrease your intense need for a cookie, and then you eat 1 less cookie, which is good. And if it works for you to change everything at once, then that is perfectly fine as well. But I feel like for most people it works better if they don't change everything at once and take small steps. Well, don't know why, but that just happens for some people. So I already mentioned some changes that you can make, like the small changes, like the cookie, 1 less cookie, or coffee without sugar, less coffee anyway, water instead of soda, fruit or nuts instead of candy. One trick that seemed to help me a lot is to just kind of get it out of the way. And by that, for me, for example, is I eat 1 piece of fruit in the morning for breakfast already, because then I've already had 1 piece of fruit, and then I only have 1 piece of fruit left to go for the rest of the day, and which is easier than seeing it turn 12 o'clock and then think, oh, I still have to eat 2 pieces of fruit. Which for you might be not bad, but for me it works better if I just get it out of the way. And I also like to plan in advance what I am going to eat. This can be for a day or for an entire week, but if you have planned something already that you are going to eat, and you've already bought the things that you are going to eat, it is very likely that you'll actually eat those things, because you've already got them. So why not eat them? And if you're very busy with work or school or anything, and you've already thought about what you're going to eat and already have the ingredients, you don't have to think at the moments you think, oh, I don't have time to think of what I'm going to have for dinner, because you already thought of that. So, and if it's something healthy, that's perfect, because you'll just eat it then. And also, if you don't buy any bad things, you're not going to eat them if you buy good things instead. Because once you crave something, like you crave a cookie and you've got some dried fruit in the house and no cookies, you'll probably eat the dried fruit because you're not going to just run to the store to buy cookies when you can eat anything else, probably. Another tip that I have, which is very useful for me, is to not really buy anything that is considered bad for you, like chocolate, cookies, chips, other unhealthy things. Ooh, you kind of... And buy healthy alternatives instead, like nuts and dried fruit and actual fruit. What else do I have? Oh yeah, rice waffles or other kind of crackers that have seeds in them, stuff like that. Because if you feel like having something salty or sweet, or you're kind of having a craving, and there's nothing unhealthy around you, you won't eat that. You can't eat it, and there's other options for you to eat, so you'll actually eat the healthy things. Also, don't go shopping when you're hungry, because, well, it's kind of a classic one, but it really is true. Because if you're hungry, everything seems very, very good and you'll want to buy anything. Another tip is to use apps. There's so many apps out there that can help you track what you eat, what you need to eat, how much you move, and all kinds of things. So I have 3 apps which are free for Apple and for Android. The first one is called Rise Up, right? Yeah, Rise Up. And it's an app that is actually designed for people with eating disorders, but you don't have to have an eating disorder in order to use this app. It is actually very useful for anyone, and it also tracks your mood, what you eat, and it's kind of easy because it just shows like everything you can eat in a day, as in breakfast, snack in the morning, lunch, and snack in the afternoon, dinner and afternoon of, or no, not afternoon. What is that called? Evening. Evening snack. If mood is one of the factors that makes it difficult for you to eat in a nice pattern or in a good pattern, or to make healthy choices, that might be a very good app for you. Another app is called Yazio. This app is very useful for any goal you may have. This is also useful if you want to gain weight or gain muscle or lose fat, lose muscle. Why would you want to lose muscle? Unless you're like an actor or something. Well, I don't know. If you want to lose muscle, lose muscle. It's none of my business, really. And one with a very clear name, which is called... What is it called? Oh, my own handwriting is really unclear. See How You Eat Diary. So that pretty much describes it anyway. And this one is a more fun one because it kind of has an Instagram vibe. You can just take pictures of what you eat, and that makes it very visual what you eat in a day. So at the end of the day, you can just look at everything you had, and then it gives you an overview. Yeah. But this doesn't really give you like facts as to what is in the food you had. It's more for yourself to become more aware of what you eat in a day. If you're not really an app person, you can also just write down what you have. I have this book. I was gonna look for it on my desk, but it's right here, which is called My Doto, which is not really funny, but it's kind of funny because I wanted to use this little notebook as a place to write down things that I have to do, so I was gonna call it to do, but then I kind of made a mistake and called it Doto, so yeah, it sounds the same really. But I also like to write down lists in this. I write down in this what I want to eat, what I'm going to eat, what ingredients I need, like what I have to get when I go grocery shopping. And that way I can also very easily see what I have eaten. So if I look back at a week, for example, I can see if I had enough variation. or if I just had pasta every day, for example, which was probably me when I first moved out. It's been a while since then, so it has gotten better, luckily. But that's a way as well. And the last point I want to address again is don't make excuses for yourself. Don't fool yourself. It's not that hard. Saying you don't have enough time to cook, for example, you can make time to cook. And there's loads and loads of examples and recipes on the internet that give you great options for cooking in like 10 minutes. And who doesn't have 10 minutes? If it's for food, anyone has 10 minutes. I mean, let's be honest. And also, meal prepping is a thing. I've never tried it before, but it might be worth a try. Also, the excuse that you don't have enough money to eat healthy is not really a good excuse, because if you think about it, if you trade like a box of cookies for some fruit, I'm not sure how the equivalent, what the valuta is. If you don't buy any chips and cookies, you can buy a whole lot more fruit, and you can buy more vegetables. And if you shop smart and find the places, like Google is a really good friend for that, because it can give you a lot of places where it is cheaper to buy fruit and vegetables. So what I found out is that buying frozen fruit and vegetables is a lot cheaper than fresh fruit and vegetables, while the amount of vitamins and other nutrients in it is still the same. So think about that. Find out what is best for your body, and there is no excuse to not eat healthier. Every time you make a healthy choice, you are going forward, so keep that up. If you want to have a cookie now, maybe try something else for once. Well, of course, sometimes you just need to eat a cookie. I'm not gonna blame you for that. But think about it. I think you can do it, because there's a lot of people that are eating healthier, changing their diets, and so you can too. Everyone can. So you can do that, and cheers to a healthier you.